on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Range. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM Maniacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share.
Hey, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a proud and loyal member of the First and 10 Tailgate. You're listening to First and 10 with my man, the main man, Foz.
First and 10 with Foz, Chicago Bears in the mix. Rapping about football, no room for politics. From the Windy City, we bring the fire. This podcast hot, raising the bar higher. Touchdown after touchdown, we never settle for less. Breaking it down with Foz, we always bring our best. First and 10 with Foz, dance in the crowd, cheering loud and proud. Our spirits never out. We rep that navy blue and orange, no room for doubt. Chicago Bears legendary, no team can knock us out. No team can knock us out.
When I'm in Chicago, always a Foz.
For display. Hitting hard like a linebacker, making our way. Foz leading the charge, taking us to the top. Chicago Bears legacy, we can never stop.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a special edition episode off-season of First and 10 with Foz. Tonight, I have my friend Joe Bobbe from Average Joe and Friends podcast in the house. How are we doing tonight, sir? Welcome.
Thanks for having me, dude. Your setup's incredible.
Thanks,
I love
bro.
this.
I appreciate it,
I love
man.
this.
I like having guests over. You're in Maxwell seat tonight, baby.
Well, it's big shoes to fill. I told you, I'm already getting the musk. I'm already feeling the musk.
He got a weird twitch in his ear. He's like, something's wrong.
God.
Something's off tonight.
I love you, Mike. You know you're my hero.
As always, guys, tonight's broadcast, podcast, everything sponsored by our friends over at Bedrocks in Short and Romeoville. Bedrocks Pizza and Bear.
Bedrocks Pizza, the place to be. Hard rock tunes and craft beers for the crowd is roaring, the atmosphere's hot. We'll party hard, give it all we've got. This place is our sanctuary. Shout it loud, let the music play. Bedrocks Pizza, we're here to stay. Good times and memories never before. Under the neon lights, we're all stars.
All right, so I did Joe's podcast, 3-4 months ago.
Months ago, dude, when stuff was like, we felt good.
Flies.
Remember, we
Time
were feeling
flies.
good.
Yeah, we were doing.
They came off a bad loss or something,
Yeah.
like right when we did that, but we were still like good spirits. when we
There
did
were
that
still
podcast.
happy projections in the
Oh
future.
my god!
Then we've been talking about, we gotta get together and do something else. Then bear season kind of ended, and we came up with a good idea, and that's what tonight's show is about. Is
I like to think it's good.
Just the overall state of Chicago sports.
It's a show I wish we didn't have to do.
Yeah. I think it's definitely discussable because when you think about Chicago, anyone thinks about Chicago from as a visitor. You got the food, you got the drink, and we're a sports town, baby.
Yeah, we're supposed to do those all well.
Yeah, we're supposed to have all three of those
Simultaneously.
consistently being in the great zone, and we've been slipping on one of them lately. I mean, our last championship was
It's
the Chicago
painful.
Sky, dude.
I know that's crazy.
2021.
We were discussing like what we're going to talk about a little bit earlier today, and Mike like wrote it out in a text, and I was like, God, what are we doing here? Like,
it needs to be said.
Hey, nothing against the Sky. Much love to the Sky and WNBA basketball in the city, but wow, this is not how it's supposed to be.
WNBA, I'm super happy for them. It didn't bring much joy into too many people's lives, but I'm sure it brought some joy into some people's life. Just not many of us, I think, watching the show today.
Regardless, still too long ago.
Dude, before that was 2016 with the Cubs,
which is good for me. I mean,
which is good for you.
We've known each other a long time, and we know White Sox.
I'm not that White Sox fan.
You're a White Sox guy, though.
No, but I wasn't that fan.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't like rooting against the Cubs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, like, 2020 or 2005 got away from us real fast all of a sudden.
The most forgot about World Series
it's
in
like,
the country.
Holy crap, it's like 20 years.
ESPN doesn't even recognize that it ever happened.
It was a pretty legit. I mean, I was in college. Like I remember it so vividly too. Like just watching Joe Creedy and that ball coming out of the first baseman's mitt and all that. It was a crazy. And they only lost one game, right, in that playoff run?
Dude, one game in the entire playoffs.
The whole playoff run.
And then the World Series was 5 complete games in a row, dude.
It was bananas.
When have you heard about that? 5 complete games from starters in the World Series.
Yeah, they handled their business there, no doubt.
The good old days.
Yes.
Much younger, much.
Well, and that's
much,
probably
much younger, less grayer.
Dude, I was in college.
Yeah.
I mean, I was as a Cub fan in college at a place where it was like split up in threes with White Sox, Cubs, and Cardinals, being in Macomb, Illinois. And during that stretch of my time in college, I watched
We can all agree about Cardinals fans.
I watched the Red Sox, the Cardinals, and the White Sox win a world championship.
At the time.
I mean, I just watched all of them win a world championship while the Cubs had the Bartman ball. Like that was my 2002 or 2002 to 2006 run.
It was 3 curses broken in the road.
It was wild. It was
and
so
then it was
wild.
supposed to be the Cubs' turn after that.
That's what we thought. Red, white, and blue.
10 more years.
It's supposed to be red, white, and blue, and we screwed it up. Yep. What are you gonna do?
Let's kick it off with some baseball. Let's start with them Cubbies, Joe. I mean, this is usually a Bears show.
Yeah.
A lot of people compare the Bears into the new Cubs because we always talk about next year. It's going to be next year. So being a Bears fan is like being a Cubs fan nowadays, Joe. So, I mean, what do you think about the condition of the team? I mean, they finished 3rd in the NL Central last year.
Yeah.
They won 83 games.
I know it was it was a very vanilla and
compared
boring.
To how many of the White Sox won.
It was a very frustrating and vanilla, like boring year to me the whole way through. It's like they got me. They got me at the beginning, and they always do. I mean, that's just the kind of person I am. I'm a glass half full. I'm a Cubs fan to the core. So it's like I went into this season with some hopes, and Cody Bellinger, but he makes a nice little look. Are we gonna get him back? They get him back. And I'm like, all right, good. That's the right thing to do. And they literally you ever have your Blackstone, like the propane's just a little too low, but it almost lights like every time. Like that was the whole season. It was like they'll go on a run. The crazy thing is the starting pitching was incredible. Like the starting pitching they got
bullpen, right?
The bullpen was bad. It was like 30 some odd blown save situations. Like if they would have won a fraction of those games, they would have made the playoffs. But that's every year, right? It's always an excuse. It's always if this would have happened, then this. So far, my impressions of this going in the off season, they're hooking me back in again. They're going to show me Kyle Tucker, but then never full positivity. It's like, here we're getting Kyle Tucker, great, we got a star finally, and then it's like, but we got him for 1 year. Don't know if we're going to be able to sign him.
Dude, are you even going to be able to do anything with any team unless you're out there spending that Dodger money nowadays?
Well, yeah, it's scary. Baseball in general is scary when it comes to that. I mean,
all guaranteed cash. All guaranteed cash no matter what.
That's why your kids should be playing baseball.
Most definitely.
I mean, like I love that signing, but it's you look at no problem with Shohei, no problem with Freeman, all these guys that are on the team, but it's getting kind of gross. It's getting kind of gross right now with all the people that they're managing to pick up. And that doesn't always lead to a championship. We've seen the Yankees. We grew up in that era of the Yankees just dumping money.
How many teams can even afford to have a shot nowadays? Like you can pick up those great players and have them not pan out. But I mean, can you even compete anymore without spending that money to have these players?
We're going to find out in Tokyo on March 19th and 18th and 19th. It's so crazy now, this Tokyo, this Japan thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great idea because Japan is definitely, they're not that far behind us when it comes to professional baseball. If not,
Anto coming over,
Oh, the Saki or the I wanted to call him Hiroko Saki from Ninja Turtles for a minute, but I mean, well, don't worry. If there's a Japanese free agent coming, the Dodgers will likely just
I mean, the players
ship
that
them
may
right
come
over.
over become stars in the Major League Baseball. So.
Yeah, I mean, even Imanaga to a certain extent for the Cubs this past year. I mean, he grew in popularity immensely. He had an incredible ERA. I mean, he's not like as flashy or anything, but man, like. These players, this is a real deal. This is like a real deal pipeline from Japan. But so like the Tokyo game makes sense, but it's so weird to think that they're going to go to spring training. They're reporting, the 13th pitchers catchers. That'd be full squads by February 18th, and then all of a sudden March 18th and 19th, you got two teams that are going to go to Japan, play 2 games, and then come home back to spring training. And then we don't kick the season off to the 27th, where everybody gets
better
opening
team
day.
than nationally loved Cubs, though, to go over there.
That's a win for them because you got LA. It's already built in, and then you got
exactly.
Shota going there with the Cubbies, and you got Seiya Suzuki. I mean, so they thought that one through. I think as MLB. The crazy thing is, if you would have asked me like 3-4 years ago, like about commissioners in major sports, I didn't like Manfred's kind of a clown. He's kind of a bum, and now Adam Silver's kind of looking like the bum, and obviously Goodell's Goodell. He got the product to work with. But man, Manfred's he's made some moves like this pitch clock thing. I got no problem with that. Even the runner on second. It was weird at first.
You look at like the pace of baseball and like the patience that's required to like sit down and watch a pitching duel. And you look at like today's generation of like youth. It's go, go, go. It's instant gratification. It's I want to see the next exciting thing right now. There's no patience. Otherwise, a little bit of boring, they're ready to go on to the next thing. So baseball is a very patient game.
Oh, yeah.
So having that be America's pastime with today's America, dude, it's a tough thing to keep up to date. Especially why golf is having so many problems, too. I mean, patient,
Tiger's trying to fix it. Tiger's trying to fix it.
They're doing like this indoor golf thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I do like the whole pitch clock thing. I think that's definitely awesome.
Yeah, and there's more base stealing. Obviously the bigger bases, all that, and then the pitch clock, and then the only 2 throwovers before you get penalized. But I mean, that's all very recent and all stuff they like tested out in the minor leagues, brought it up, it worked. It seems to, it's got me hooked up. I mean, again. Full disclosure, I have a son who plays travel ball at age 12, so it's like, we're more into the baseball world because of him. But I bought the MLB package the last like 3 years in a row, and I use it like all the time. I'm watching West Coast baseball before I go to bed, and it's wild.
9 p.m. start time.
I would have never thought like I would be like this, but it's still loving it. And it's just weird to me because like the NBA had such this big upswing, and they were faster, exciting. And now it's like all of a sudden you're hearing it in the news and watching it on the court. You're like, what's going on? 75 threes in a game? What are we doing here? We're just jacking them up?
100%, man. I mean, I think getting back to the Cubs, I mean, they really have dedicated a lot of time and effort to building up around Wrigley Field. They really like built a city.
Yeah. Oh, they
within
did
the ballpark.
I saw something in your notes, and I was like, "Built city." I was like, "Wait, what is he saying?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I get
Jefferson
it."
Starship,
Yeah, please don't.
We're gonna listen to it later. No, but they built the city around.
They're like, "Please don't run over our fans. Exactly. We're gonna go ahead and close this. We're Yawkey Way in this thing."
I mean, they've done some updates, repairs to the stadium, things of that nature. But I mean, Wrigley Field. It's a historic landmark. It's a travel destination. You go to Chicago, it's like going to Boston, stop at Fenway Park,
100%.
Come in Chicago and go into Wrigley Field.
It's really nice out there right now. I mean, I'll be that guy eventually. It's like, I miss the old days, and but whatever. No, it's pretty cool. It's good for
bleachers or cements falling down.
Well, that's still happening. I think once you get into the stadium, this shit's still some shit a little loose in there, but other than that, like around the stadium though, it's built up. It's pretty awesome, and it's so Ricketts is it goes back and forth with like you cheap ass, or is he not a cheap ass? They don't want to spend. Is Jed making these decisions? Well, so funny story. I think my brother's dear friend Jim Vasu. Yeah. He's got a son. People who don't know Jim is a crazy serial autograph seeker, right? So he takes his son. His son's got pictures with everybody, Rome and Caleb, and they sign autographs. Luca, all the like. His name is Luca, so he does a lot of Luca stuff. So, anyways, Jim ends up on TMZ with his son, his 6-year-old son walking up to Ricketts at Cubs convention this year, and Ricketts bends down like signing a bat for him, and he's like, "You're the cheapest owner in sports." And he said, "What's it?" So he repeats it.
Has he met Jerry Reinsdorf? Are you kidding me?
And Ricketts bounces, he like straightens up, and he's like, "Hey, whose kid is this?" My friend Jim's raising his hand. So it ends up on TMZ Sports. He sends it over to me.
You got money for a soccer club? You don't got money to put players?
Yeah, right. It was so funny though. I was just like, oh man. So I don't know. They spend some money. They don't spend some money. They're the negligence of the bullpen for the last few years is just it's and you know what? This has been a sign from Theo for years too. I think in Boston even he generally went light on the bullpen. They didn't want to get contracts out there. You know, they tried to patchwork it together. Sure. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Yeah. Remember Keith Folk, right? Yeah. He was part of those patched together Boston bullpens.
Well, I mean, you see how important they are. I mean, pretty much Artemis Chapman won you guys the World Series.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you see when those key players, those key pitchers come out, dude,
and even he gave up the big home run in that that Game 7. Amazon's got this awesome little documentary series of 5 episodes called Game 7 now. Yeah. So they do like the Boston one, they do the Cubs one,
I saw it.
They do
the
awesome. Gretzky. Really cool. Yeah. So cool little spot on Prime now. But it's just, if I know they're putting bullpen arms together, but I have no idea what that means.
You can
honestly.
Only say, if anything, the Chicago Cubs are trying. Right? I mean,
it feels like they're trying a little bit.
You don't feel like they're trying, or you feel like they're doing something.
Yeah.
Try to win games and try to be a competitor. Right?
Like my idiot brain's already optimistic. I'm already like, sure. Dude, we got fucking Kyle Tucker. We're gonna do this. You know, like we're gonna be better this year.
Let's switch to the next topic of the team, who's doing absolutely nothing to try and get better.
Shift gears
to the south side of Chicago, to the team that I grew up loving and has been a fan of my entire life. The Chicago White Sox, who finished last season 41-121, and
historic
179 years of baseball, sir, and the
absolutely
worst
historic
record ever in almost 200 years of baseball.
But you know what? That campfire shake's pretty good.
Fucking campfire
2024. They lit 2024 on fire with that shake.
Dude, it's almost
to be fair.
It's almost like Guaranteed Rate became like a bar you pay to get into, and then there's like recreational sports happening around you.
You barely pay.
If you feel like
you barely have to pay.
If you feel like watching it, but if not, there's like 4 different bars. There's some good food. You got some good desserts. I mean,
it's always been the more fun stadium though, like functional stadium at least. You know, everybody loves Wrigley. It's like you see the bricks, and you know it's cool. Obviously, people that hate the Cubs hate Wrigley, but you know it's a cool nostalgic stadium. But the White Sox, you go to White Sox, Comiskey Park, US Cellular, whatever you want to call it, Guaranteed Rate. You have fun there, man, and there's no doubt about it. You're never going to be dry. Your glass is never going to be empty. There's going to be better food, most likely.
Especially where we live. It's like, oh, you pop out of the parking lot. Oh, there's 55. I'm going to be home in 35
So
minutes.
much better.
The absolute best.
Get on the goddamn train.
Tailgating.
Go to the train. Get on and off. Yeah, you could tailgate, play bags in the parking lot.
Exactly.
You don't know shit about tailgating, though.
I know nothing.
You're an amateur.
I know nothing, Joe Bobbe.
So I mean, like as a White Sox fan, like you watched that all year. I mean, you.
Oh no,
not yeah, right. Yeah.
No, dude.
That is where you're mistaken.
There is an old saying that I live by and I stick by, and that is, life is too short for bad baseball. If you are sitting there watching a horrible team like the White Sox 5-6 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a night, getting their ass pounded over and over. Dude, I think you literally have a problem. I don't think it's not supporting your team. Like you're like a masochist. Like
100%.
you're just like being beat down. Like, dude, how can you sit there and watch that every night?
Something I've always appreciated about White Sox fans in general is like they will stop going.
Yeah,
like they will,
dude. And I think in the past, compared to the last maybe 10 years, we used to get made fun of for that. But now I think Cubs fans over the years have started to see, like, open their eyes towards the money being spent.
Make a statement.
Why are we giving them this money? Why are we doing this? Why are we dedicating our time when you keep on giving us shit?
It's so crazy.
And Cubs fans came around the last, like, 5 to 7 years. And we're like, oh, welcome. We've been doing this forever. You used to make fun of our vacant stadium. It's because we want to go there and watch baseball.
This year was wild.
Yeah.
There were some games, 3,000.
Oh, dude,
1,500
you can
people
just
might
sit
be
behind
there.
home plate. Just walk on in and go sit behind home plate.
It's just, yeah, they're like, here, go down there.
Yeah.
Go down there. They're almost like Florida level. We're going to tarp off center field or something.
Dude, and we have the worst owner in every sports league known to man, Jerry Ryan.
And he would be the guy who has 2 of them.
Dude,
Like,
we'll get to that next.
guess what? We have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
so here,
absolute worst owner. under
give
the
me
sun.
like, so we'll spin into Jerry from this. Like, so my son is 12 and he's a White Sox fan. So he came up and started enjoying baseball on television when the White Sox were really starting to pick up some steam. So for me personally, I'm still mind completely blown that once that core started to come together and like Moncada and Robert and Eloy and all these
Supposed
guys,
to be a World Series contending team. Yeah.
I was just like, this window is huge.
Yep.
This window is huge. And this window just got slammed shut so fast.
So fast, dude. And so many of those players ended up being made out of complete glass, dude.
Yeah, it was
You
injuries,
touch
right?
them
Injury.
and they're gone for this season. I mean, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Roberts,
So Eloy in
Moncada.
Baltimore? Does Eloy go to
I
Baltimore
don't know,
last
man.
year or something like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see him go because he was just, dude, he sneezed and he was out for 6 months.
It was really bad.
But yeah, dude, I've stopped participating, supporting, doing anything towards the White Sox, dude. Like,
Look at you.
I won't buy the apparel. I'm not watching the game. You have zero support. I wouldn't even go there for free, dude.
I did
You get
multiple times
anyone
this
who,
year.
dude, I think that to me and anyone who's doing that right now with the White Sox, that means you really do love the team and you really do care about them.
Sure.
Because you're refusing to give any money to continue this bullshit. Because this bullshit will continue as long as they keep on making that money in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem.
Or
and that was the
somebody
Cubs'
dies,
problems
but-
for so many years. Like, getting back to the Cubs, I mean, it didn't matter how good the team was on the field. You were
Filling it
selling
up.
out every single game. You guys are out there drunk in the bleachers saying, go Cubs,
Destination.
go. I mean, like, dude, it didn't matter.
Well, it was a real problem in
Yeah.
like 06, 07, like 07, 08. Like when
Yeah.
Alfonso was here, you know, so we had Soriano here. There's teams, the Pinella teams, it's like whatever. Anyways, I don't want. We already talked about
So
the
the
Cubs
White
enough.
Sox,
So
dude,
the White Sox,
have
like
the worst season ever. Then they literally come out and announce right at the end of the year, we're not doing anything in the offseason. We're not spending no money. We're not picking up any free agents. I think these guys are just going to get better next year. To be the second worst team ever in baseball? I mean, is that going to be the improvement from the worst last year?
What's the clock here? Like, what? Like, are they saying there is no time frame for improvement?
The man dying and someone else buying the team.
What's Michael doing?
Is the only
thing,
thing,
Michael handling stuff?
It's the only thing I think is going to change the White Sox.
What do you know about Will Venable? I mean, he seems to have a good reputation in the league as like a good guy, but I don't know about his coaching chops and like
idea. Well, dude, it all really started back hiring Tony La Russa, dude. That was like the beginning of like the complete end, dude.
Yeah.
When you brought
they win 90-some games and then
and then you bring in Tony La Russa. A handshake deal didn't even involve your GM in it. Behind closed doors with Ryan Storr because he felt bad about letting him go all those years ago in the
Renteria?
80s.
Is it Rick
Renteria?
Right? Rick Renteria was the coach leading up to that, right? Or am I wrong about that? Yeah.
Dude, I have no idea.
And then they bring Tony in. And then that was the whole firing, you know, that was like his biggest regret type situation. What Hawk was the GM, I think, when that happened, right? When they let Tony go their first time. I think Hawk Harrelson was the GM when that happened. He's the only GM for like a year.
That was like mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
I think like 85, 86. Yeah.
That would be after like 83, right? Because that was a big Sox year right there. I mean, what do you think? Like the short term, I'm guessing nothing. You're thinking nothing.
Dude, I mean, I literally see us being equally as bad as last year, if not possibly worse, knowing that you're coming out there as the worst team ever in baseball.
They can't.
With no improvement. No improvements.
Yeah. So you don't see yourself at the stadium this year, I take it.
Dude, I don't see myself at that stadium or the next team's stadium until Jerry Reinsdorf is no longer the owner of either one of these teams.
So do you give up on baseball? Do you find another team? What is it?
Dude, this is my depressing part of the year. So after the Super Bowl's done, dude, like I have nothing until the NFL draft.
That's why this podcast is happening right now. That's why
we're doing this.
That's why we're doing this. Just like,
and then after the draft, I have nothing until August, till preseason starts, dude. So it's like a 6-month gap of just horribleness.
Combines in like 2
baseball
weeks.
to watch. I got nothing to watch, dude. It sucks.
Combine in 2 weeks, free agency middle of March, draft
Yep.
April, and then we're just come on August.
Dude,
Come on
100%.
August.
100%.
I mean, NFL's king. Like I said, I love the Cubs, and I'll be watching all summer, and I will sink hours into it. I work from home. I'll have it on the TV while I'm working every day. But man, nothing
dude,
beats the NFL.
But look what we just talked about. We literally just talked about our upcoming summer of sports in Chicago.
Yeah,
and we're already playing to be miserable. It's like a predetermined misery, dude. Like,
I still have a
you're
glimmer of
supposed to be
hope.
getting
Glimmer of hope. They'll do something.
fun-
Maybe
your
they'll
false
grab
hopes,
Alex
yeah.
Bregman, or maybe Dylan Cecil end up here in the starting rotation. Well, those are my little hopes. But then April will come and they'll smack me in the mouth, and it'll be 30 degrees at Wrigley. Nobody will be able to hit. And then
dude, and like it almost seems like too every single team we're talking about and we're gonna talk about, when we finally do get a decent team, our division becomes the best division in the sports league of that year.
so good.
Yeah,
So good.
dude, especially like with the Cubs, with the Brewers, and the Cardinals. Like your guys' division is just unbelievable.
No, they're not very good. But the Cubs division, at least, particularly.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the White Sox this year, like Detroit somehow makes this miracle run at the end to make it to the playoffs. KC looked good. You got the Guardians killing it. Man, geez, like the Bears dealing with the Lions, and you get Sam Darnold having the craziest year ever.
Chicago sports fans just can't catch a break. We just cannot catch a break.
No excuses. We can't think like that. We're not victims, right? We're not victims.
Bad, dude, but with the White Sox, dude, there's no sunshine coming down the road, dude. There's still massive storms ahead of us.
Just pain.
I mean, dude, I hate to say this. I don't wish death upon nobody, man. But like, I don't see him selling the team until the man's dead.
Somebody just needs to come out and give him the price that he can't turn down. Just something that makes him go, okay.
How can you be in your 80s and still care about money?
I know. Point? I think about that all the time.
Do you know what I mean? Like at this point, weren't you thinking about
already
the
amassed
legacy?
Enough for everybody, right?
Thinking about the legacy you're leaving behind.
It's not like the kids are going to work. I mean, they're working, but not for themselves.
Yeah, dude. It's like you're going to be remembered as a piece of shit now. You still have time to redeem that. You can redeem that at this point. You're still alive, but like if you're gonna hold on to this team, drive its fandom down, let them be losers, let them be a horrible team, and then it literally takes you dying and the team selling to make the team good again, your legacy is shot, dude. I mean,
yeah, you're gonna end up, Bill Wirtz again.
And not only is he doing this with the one team, with the White Sox, he's doing it with the next team we're about to talk about. I was gonna
say, should we just slide right into that?
Dude, the Chicago Bulls.
We're gonna slide right into the Bulls.
So again, like
we covered the NBA, like what that looks like nowadays, and the Bulls are not immune to it.
So
they're jacking up 3-pointers like everybody else.
You can try and say this ain't Jerry Reinsdorf. But when you have both teams, the Bulls and the White Sox, in two different sports, in the same goddamn position with the same owner, how do you not blame the ownership at this point?
When the Bulls and the Sox do feel very similar in that regard, but if you look at it, you got to realize the Bulls are like almost in the worst position because they're in the middle. They're in the middle of the NBA, which is fucking nightmare. Like that is the worst possible place you can be in the NBA, especially because there's just no coming up from it. You're not getting a good draft pick. You're not hitting that lottery ball. No more Derrick Rose coming through those doors. And the crazy thing to me, extrapolating in my mind what I know about Jerry Reinsdorf and everything you just said about the White Sox and all that, and knowing that it's the Bulls, we all watched The Last Dance, right? So probably the best documentary ever made. Nah, not biased at all.
100%. It came out during COVID, which was
incredible. Yeah. The greatest of all time. Just drunk on whiskey, talking shit about looking at an iPad, laughing at people about how stupid they are. So looking at that, right? So we all get that. We all get that kind of thought of like, all right, so Jerry always thought the Bulls were kind of like his second thing, right? He was a White Sox guy. Like that championship in 2005 meant the most to him.
He literally said he would trade all the Bulls rings for the
all
World
6.
Series.
He would trade them.
Even in 2005, as a younger man, I was like, are you fucking crazy? What?
So crazy. And now fast forward to where we're at right now. We just talked about with the White Sox. Imagine the way he's treating the White Sox right now, how negligent he's being with them. And then now you're also the shitty child that he doesn't even care about. What future do they have?
This is the crazy part, dude. He thinks he's not doing the wrong thing. He thinks he's doing everything right, and he thinks everyone around him is crazy. He's at the it's everyone else point right now. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get it. They don't know. They don't know what happens behind closed doors. I mean, I literally think that's where he's at. That he has this idea in his mind on how he's going to do things and fuck everyone else. Yeah, dude, has to be.
So I mean, like I'm looking at this, the trade deadline comes and goes. You got all these like prime pieces. Nikola Vucevic is having like the greatest season of his life, and you can't move him for something. Dude, a second round pick. I don't care. Get some draft capital. He's going to help you get to the playing game again. And we're going to have to sit through that shit again. And then you're going to, you're going to be way out of the lottery. You're never going to get a draft pick. Like the Bulls don't make any sense to me. They traded Zach LaVine, but only because somebody needed them to make a bigger trade. So like AK's not doing that on his own. AK's doing nothing. He's just letting these guys sit and die here in Chicago. It's like, I don't know. Luckily DeMar DeRozan got out of town. Like now Zach's out of town with DeMar.
Dude, we haven't done anything since '98. We had a glimpse of hope with D Rose before
that was fun, out but man,
in the early 2000s.
It was just never there.
And it's all been bullshit ever since. I mean, 2022 they made that crappy little playoff. Oh dude, I think everyone makes the playoffs. Isn't there like 3 teams that don't make the playoffs?
It's bad now because it's like you always have 16 teams make it anyway. It's a 32 team league, and then now you have these playing games where 4 from each side are getting to at least.
There's a lottery to get in.
It's dumb. It's dumb. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about Adam Silver. Like Adam Silver was like this progressive. Everybody loves
even
this
with
guy.
That setup,
young and cool.
The Bulls haven't got in since 22, and before that it was 17.
Yeah,
with this easy setup. Yeah. I mean, we're talking 8 years.
Vinny Del Negro, you could count on him being 41 and 41, and then you get Tibbs. You win the President's Cup. You win 60 games, but then everybody's dead in the playoffs, and you get nothing out of it. So we watched that era, in my formidable years of basketball fandom, and it's just I don't see a sign anywhere. And the NBA is just run by superstars, and there's not going to be a superstar on this team. Why would you want to come?
You got Luka Doncic and LeBron on the same team.
Doncic just gets handed over for Anthony Davis, like who's 31 and like on the outs, and he's injured all the time. And you get a 25-year-old insane superstar who's already taken the team to the finals that they just gave him away. And did the NBA do that? Was that the NBA's doing? Like, we got to get the Lakers something. Like, we're struggling here.
Like he brought up The Last Dance. I got done watching The Last Dance, and like I computed everything, like because I loved it. That was like we grew up as kids. The Bulls, three-peat. Like,
so many.
Like when we were young, we didn't understand logistics. Like obviously watching The Last Dance. I got done. I watched him. Like I think I'm gonna watch it again. And I went through and I watched. This is COVID time now, so I'm like, oh, it's so awesome. And dude, I mean, by the time I got done watching it the second time, I really computed and sat back. I'm like, I was fucking pissed off, dude. Pissed off to the maximum. I mean, you had Jerry Krause and you had Jerry Reinsdorf, who was making stupid deals. You wouldn't extend people. You wouldn't give players money. You wanted to get rid of Phil Jackson, the best coach in the entire world. One of the best coaches ever in the sport.
It's all ego.
Yeah. And then at the end of the series, you had Michael, Dennis, Scotty, Phil all say, like, we wanted to come back another year. And I do like that. My heart just like sunk. And I was like, because of these idiots right here. So again, my extended hate for Jerry Reinsdorf after watching The Last
just solidified
Dance, it. And then like seeing how he handled that even 20, 30 years ago. Add that onto his age now, and God knows how he's handled shit now.
Now you know what's happening.
Now it's terrifying.
It's like I can do all the math now. It's like Jesus. What's the future?
Exactly.
But I mean, in that whole thing with like them, they would have come back. Like Jordan, I don't know what happened when Jordan went to baseball thing, his father and all that. Like who knows? Who knows what actually happened there? Gambling, all that stuff. But I mean, the dude would have won 10 titles. Like there was that. I mean, because we're the same age, so that feeling every year. There was nothing like if the White Sox or the Bears would make the playoffs, right? Like, and they were a good team, we would be so anxious I was never anxious with the Bulls
Dude,
because it was
the
just an
three-peat
automatic.
Was a 72-win season.
It was just automatic.
Yeah.
You're just like, you didn't worry. Like
You
they'll
knew
figure it out.
if Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman were coming back.
Yeah.
They were winning another championship. Like, there's no question about it. It was done.
It was foregone
done.
conclusion.
It was done. We would have saw the four-peat if it wasn't for these assholes in the back.
Pat Riley would have ate that up too. You got to pay me for that one too.
Oh, dude. Like, with the Super Bowl and everything and Mahomes and everything, we were kind of talking on different shows about, like, this one guy in this position who stops the other great people around him from succeeding. Like, he's doing it to Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and everything. And, like, you think about talking about the Bulls, the amount of great players who never got championship rings
Karl Malone.
because of Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley.
You'd almost say
Patrick Ewing.
You could almost say Akeem Olajuwon, but Jordan gave him 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye for 2 years, and all of a sudden the Rockets got a couple championships.
Sure, 100%. But it's like, dude, Michael Jordan was the man of the time. He's still the man today, man.
Oh,
and then getting back to, again, our
still
topic
an absolute
of night.
dog.
Chicago
current
sports, dude.
current state.
We have two of the GOATs in Chicago. We have Walter Payton and we have Michael Jordan, dude.
I know.
The state of these teams.
The greatest
we're
athletes
three
of all
teams
time.
right now, and I'm pissed off already. God damn it. We still got a couple more to talk about.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, there was never. We have there's like iconic, Cubs and Sox, but like Jordan and Peyton.
Oh, dude.
Are like
our next team had
iconic humans.
Had an iconic 2010s, bro.
Well,
and that's the Chicago Blackhawks, dude.
That was really cool.
That 10, 13, and 15, dude. Those. And the years in between, even those playoff games, dude.
I have so much grace for them right now. Like, and that'll wear off in 10 years if shit's not starting to get fixed. But I have so much grace for them right now. They're the one I'm the least upset with. I mean, Connor Bedard's starting to make me nervous a little bit because I was really feeling the McJesus
they only
vibes.
Have 17 wins. They're in last place.
I was thinking, like Connor McDavid was obviously he comes in and just immediately. Huge impact on the league. You got the Oilers humming. He still hasn't won the big one yet, but you see him on the ice. He has a supporting
staff around him.
You see him on the ice. You're like, that guy's different than everybody else. Yeah. So Connor Bedard was kind of billed like that when they drafted him, and they got the first pick fell in their lap. They were terrible, and they got. And I have nothing against Bedard right now. I think he's going to be great, but like I do worry he's a little small, and he just hasn't like taken off yet. They have put nothing around him, so that's why I'm okay with it. Like, Donato is not a top of the line winger for him, to be playing with. They need to find somebody to play with that.
I think Wirtz has been talking to Reinsdorf a little bit too much, man. And not even with the NHL, dude. I mean, they're starting to branch out into finally doing gear, finally doing like fandom stuff. Like NHL hats just got released for like the first time.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, duh. It's 2025.
This giant revenue stream that everybody else is using. We should try that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hockey's such a different sport, man. Yeah. These guys, damn, that guy makes $10 million a year. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that's like the worst basketball player. Makes $10 million a year. So, but watching them right now, it's like I will flick them on. Like I feel like their goalies are actually pretty decent. If were able to get Mrazek and Soderblom, like they're not bad players. It's just they don't have Duncan Keith and Seabrook and Hjalmarsson and all these guys we watched.
Hjalmarsson.
Dude, what an awesome era for us to be like that age, to be able to drink and party and like so cool
of the 2010s.
It was so cool. Like and it was like it was such a great like magical story too, because our uncles and cousins and dads knew that Bill Wirtz, you couldn't watch it on TV. It was all these things, and then this guy dies, and immediately Rocky's got it on TV, and he's got all these things, and everybody's going back to the arena, and all of a sudden in 2009 or something, right? They're head to head with the fucking Red Wings in the playoffs, and they put up a huge fight, and they get knocked out, and then they come back the next year and they start that run. That's just
dude. I mean, you picked up Kane and Taves right together, dude.
Kane, I was like I am with Connor right now. When Kane started, I was like, he's kind of small, like he's fucking magical, but he's not like. And then he just what a career, like 18 years or whatever, like being the size that he is, just a wizard with the puck.
I mean, the Blackhawks are in more of a grace period because they did give us such a more recent within the last. It's been 10 years now. 10 years since the last one, going on 11. So.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. But, man, it was cool. 10, 13, and 15, right? That was 10, 13, and 15. They got the wins.
But dude, like, you always look into these other sports towns. You got, like,
I'm so tired
Boston,
of Boston. I'm so tired of Boston.
New York. I mean, all these East Coast sports towns, like, they at least at one time have one team in one sport,
Yeah.
always being a competitor nonstop.
Sometimes
And
3 out of 4.
I see no reason why Chicago is not in that same mode, dude. You get so much
When's
of
the
our
last
money,
time?
our revenue, our support, dude. Like, I mean, people are still buying Bears 1985 Super Bowl memorabilia
The boys,
today, dude. I
the
mean,
boys are still living
yeah,
off of it, which I'm fine with. That's
yeah.
great.
God
Guys are
bless them.
heroes.
They're still rock stars.
Guys are
But
heroes.
I'm saying, dude, that's the support you have behind you. That's the revenue cycle you have behind you.
Yeah.
And where are we at today? Where are we at with the Cubs? Where are we at with the Sox? Where are we at with the Bulls and the Blackhawks? Dude, every single team we've talked about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, are in the fucking gutter. And there's really no close glimpse of light to them being a competitive championship team anytime in the near future. I mean, maybe the Cubs probably have the best bet out of everyone we talked about tonight.
But the Brewers, they always find a way to be okay. Like, and if not good, they never win. They never win the big one, but they always find a way to win 90 games or whatever it is.
Dude, and then
you take their manager away, doesn't matter. They're gonna beat you anyway. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we can't do anything.
To the last sad fact, which my podcast is all about. We're relying on the Bears for championships now. We are relying on the Bears to win now. I mean,
it's been so long.
Dude, 85, dude. 2007 last appearance.
I was born in 84, man.
Yeah.
What a bummer. What a bummer.
2015 since last playoff win versus the Seahawks.
Don't do it.
The double dunk in 19. Dude, let's keep on going, man. But yeah, dude, Chicago
Rest in
teams.
peace, Cody.
Chicago teams are due for
He's not dead.
No. And you know what the biggest problem is, dude? One of the biggest problem about everything we talked about tonight is
what is? I need to know.
You and I, dude.
Yeah.
And everyone watching this right now, because we support these motherfuckers. We buy the stuff. We go to the games.
No end.
We watch on TV. And no matter what these teams are doing on the field and giving us as far as the sport goes, these fucking owners are banking. And it doesn't matter what product you're putting on the field. And why do they even care as long as that revenue cycle's coming? Because at the end of the day, they're businessmen. You know what I mean?
Some of them are crying poor, which is crazy. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how money works and all these revenues, but it seems like they probably have money.
But you get what I'm
saying? Seems like Tom Ricketts is probably making something.
They get to a point where, like, if your team is such a losing team for so long and you really care about them, the best thing you can do is stop doing anything to give that team money. Because
don't buy this hat.
Yeah. When are they going to actually do something about the quality on the field? They're going to be forced to when the revenue stops coming.
We'll be there. We'll be there for them when they do. We'll be there for them.
And once they, like I said, we talked about the Cubs. They're trying.
Yeah.
Like, you got to give them some credit. I mean,
yeah, I'm in the middle right now. I don't know if they're
not trying right now, dude. There's no trying happening.
Sox and the Bulls have quit. And the Blackhawks, I'm not sure. I feel like they could have done more, but I don't know enough about hockey and salary caps and the way things work. And I don't know what the money looks like in hockey, honestly.
One of my friends who's a bartender at Bedrocks, he sat down when he was talking about the draft procedures for the NHL. And my fucking head was about to explode, dude. Like,
what?
Like the way it goes and how they figure everything out. I'm like,
and like you're not allowed to get
the salary cap.
It's really weird,
dude. It's extremely weird, dude.
In my head, I'm like, the Hawks suck. They get the number one, right? that's how it works.
Yeah.
Nope. No, not technically.
Yeah,
so the funny
super
thing
confusing.
is, we're doing this whole show, is about this. What are we looking at Chicago sports wise right now, current state? And last year, going into the season, you and I sat down. We did my podcast. We talked about the Bears. We did our predictions. We had all these high hopes and stuff. And going into the season, I was bought and sold. I was ready to go. I was riding with Ryan Poles. I was riding.
My bottom line was 9 wins last year, and I thought we were winning 13 for sure.
That was easy. 9.
That was an easy 9. Easy 9, probably 13, and probably could have been 13.
So
that's where I sat all year.
The season unfolds the way it did.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. It was a disaster. It was poor coaching. It was poor playing. It was all of it. Everybody took their blame. Poor ownership. Didn't know what the fuck Kevin Warren was even being paid for.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shovel in the ground yet. So sorry, but I'm saying like that, getting burned like that. And here I am right now today, and I'll tell you that. Out of these teams that we talked about today, I would say the Bears have the best chance of turning it around next year, which is crazy to me that my brain's even thinking that.
Yeah.
I feel like, am I touching the stove after it's hot over and over again? Like, what? or does it make sense?
So
Ben
anyone
Johnson.
who has been watching my show, and I've repeated this a couple times since the end of the season, is I refuse to get excited going into this year. I'm not getting. I will not.
I'm trying not to.
I am happily optimistic about the coaching moves that they made.
Yeah.
But dude, if you want to see excitement out of me, it's going to be after game 1 and game 2 of the official season, where it matters.
Yeah.
And if they come out there killing it at that point, then I'm going to be excited. But preseason, practice, everything off season up until then, dude, I really don't care, dude. Like, I need to see some action on the field in order for some excitement, because too big of a letdown last year.
Caleb's got to be upright for a couple of games and just dropping dimes. Otherwise, I just can't. I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to call you, and I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna crack because I'm gonna be like, "Guy, I'm thinking 12 wins this year."
What do you think about a Poles contract extension, my friend?
I know Courtney Cronin came in like 3 extra years. They're saying potentially on it. Well, the GM contracts are weird because nobody actually knows. Some of the insiders, I'm sure know, but like they don't get reported like a player, right? So it's like we didn't even know what he was working with. It sounded like they're saying he's going to be aligned with Ben Johnson's contract and whatever, they're hand in hand tied together, but he's not going to survive another year like this. I mean, something happens that next year and it's like, I think
a lot of people forget about our last 2 previous GMs for the Bears. Ryan Poles, Ryan Poles actually will talk to the media and communicate with what's going on. These guys,
I want him to succeed very much.
I mean, our former 2 GMs, they were heated so badly they wouldn't even talk to the fucking Tribune or any sportscasting whatsoever.
It was Emery, right?
Yeah.
Emery and then the Pace, right? Yeah. And Pace had a longer run than I realized. He was here for 7 years or something. Yeah, it's like, what? How?
We traded up for Trubisky with Pace.
I know, it was awesome. So awesome.
We were talking about that.
I had to go back through that draft for something the other day, and I was like, oh, God. Yeah. It's so painful. And then again, like I think at the time I was like, they need to take that, what was his name, Solomon Torres or whatever. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he might not even be in the league anymore. The one that San Francisco took. Yeah. But I don't know but there was a lot of names in there. You're like, God damn, we could have had all those guys. Dude, we could have had any one of those guys.
Like you could have threw a dart blind and hit better than what we chose, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think about Cooper Kupp coming to the Bears? Man?
I think he'd fit with like the current construction. I've been thinking about this too and I just listened to 1000 actually earlier today, and they were talking about him and how he may not have the market you might think, and they were kind of really deep diving into his stats, and like 2021 was his only like real. He won the Triple Crown that year. It was like really productive, but he's only playing like 12 games a year. He's getting hurt a lot. He's excuse me, Puka Nacua is a fucking real deal, dude. That kid, like the 2 of them together should be magical. Dude, if he stays healthy.
One thing that always concerns me is that I believe and I trust in Sean McVay, dude.
Yeah, the guy's a genius.
Sean McVay is a genius. And if Sean McVay wants to get rid of or is willing to get rid of Cooper Kupp right now, it worries me. There's a reason.
Yeah, it worries me.
Just like the reason he traded Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff.
Stafford hasn't been bad. I mean, Stafford won a Super Bowl. Like they figured it out. That worked out for both of them.
You saw what happened to Jared Goff in
it worked out
big
for both
primetime situation.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you can't hate on. I can't hate on Goff. Goff was dead.
Oh, no.
He was dead to the world, and he's really figured it out. It's a shame that they got the shit kicked out of him the way they did. I was really rooting for the Lions to do well there.
Dude, who wasn't? Everyone wanted a Lions Buffalo Super Bowl.
That would have been fun.
If you didn't want that Super Bowl, you're lying to yourself. That's the Super Bowl everybody wanted.
That would have been fun. Like Jared Goff does nothing for me. It's not. He's not exciting to watch. But when he's like 18 for 18 for 200, you're like, all right, like that boy's playing ball. He's playing ball, and Ben Johnson maybe a genius. I don't know. Oh, but anyway, getting back to Kupp and the Bears, like I think this would, if we could get him for a price, if it's a low value trade or somehow you have to sign him if they cut him or something. I think that does work for like Rome and DJ, right? Because he's going to go in the slot probably, and he's not going to demand too much. Like he's not going to demand too much attention, and he's going to be solid as shit. And if he goes out for a couple games, you're not like, oh damn it, we're relying on him everything.
No, 100%.
We need to get Cole Kmet going. That's really my thing. Cole
Well,
Kmet's got to
you
get
can't
going.
get Cole Kmet going until he stops playing offensive line.
We got
when he's the sixth offensive lineman out there.
We got to get the man the ball. We got to get him the ball.
Most definitely. But, dude, so much coming up with the Bears. I mean, we're at that point again to where you could go 1,000 different avenues. I mean, free agency. We have the new coaching staff now. We don't know what we're doing towards the draft. It's like another fucking minor rebuild again this year, dude. Like, it's just that same old scenario of like we just can't keep a consistency of everything.
Yeah.
Like every year there's some new component or some switch or some coordinator or some key player in some key areas getting changed out, dude. Like, I'm hoping after this year we get it straightened out and we start seeing some consistency.
I'd like to see Sweat
Bears.
get a partner. You know, I'd love to see Sweat have a partner on the other side, and he's got to stay healthy too. But
Myles Garrett, Max Crosby wants out of
my antennas are
dude,
up for Max or Micah. Like Max
I
or
will call
Micah
you
would
butt
be
naked FaceTime if we get Max
with
Crosby.
a cigar. With a cigar, like
we're not
the
going
Raiders.
to work today. If it's a Tuesday, we're not going to work.
Shit, dude. It'll be like, remember when Jay Cutler came over? That was like, that day was like, wow, so crazy, amazing.
We got a quarterback.
Yeah, that would be Max Crosby or like Micah Parsons coming over here. I will say
more excited about Max Crosby.
Well, Micah, I say because he's younger. He's got less years on him. You know, he's gonna be 25 or something. I think Max is gonna be 27. But Myles Garrett, I love it, but 31 or 29, he's gonna. I can't somewhere in that ballpark. I'm not in it. What's up? What you got, dog?
We got Phil here who's out here commenting.
Okay, what up, Phil?
Dude, then we got this bot Bree out here. He's like, "Hey Phil, can you send me a friend?"
Yeah, oh, dude, they about to get it on.
Click on that link, Phil.
Yeah, dude.
Click on that link. Let's
you
see
married, bro?
For
You about to have the time of your life.
Is that profile picture real? I can't see it too big down there.
Is it an egg? Is it?
Get it, Phil.
Twitter egg. This is what the Foz show's all about, man.
Oh, dude,
connecting people.
See shit happening in the comments all the time.
I love it.
The best.
Bring it in. What do we got? We got anything on there, or are we just letting us ramble?
Yeah, no, they're letting us ramble a little bit.
I like that.
2025 season opponents are extremely better than the 2024 opponents. Oh yeah, I mean we had a cakewalk of a schedule this year, dude. Like if there was a year to do it last year,
that was the problem. Apparently,
yeah,
we need a little more challenge.
Yeah, the first 10 games of the season where it was a cakewalk, but then when the last 7 games of the season were hard as fuck. I mean.
And we played better for the most part. They played better against the tougher teams, right? They should have won a big bunch of those games with the field goal issues and Tyreek Stevens. I don't know. Christ.
Dude, how many like lightning strike scenarios happened last year?
I'm just trying not to look at it like that because I don't want to be. I don't want to be the victim. I don't want to be the victim here. They fucked up. They fucked up. That's what they did.
Even going into the previous
they messed up.
All the games that they lost were like. They had like a 99.3% chance of winning. It's like how much?
It doesn't make any sense.
In the last 2 years, we've probably lost 12 to 15 games with like a 98% or higher like chance of winning in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
Eberflus. Yeah, it's painful to watch them call timeouts and not know how to manage a game or a clock or call a play that makes any sense at a goal line or whatever it was. But I mean, at the end of the day, the crazy thing is that this team to me has the biggest bright spot right now going forward. Again, I'll hold off judgment on the Cubs and we'll see. You know, I like what they're doing. I'm just not sure it's going to pan out until they really just pull the Band-Aid off and start spending like the market that they're in. I just don't understand why all of our teams get these like cheap tags. Like why we have money.
Cheap tags.
Everything you're talking about. We support everything.
The highest revenue city as far as ticket costs and parking and concession goes. And then you look at where they fall into the popularity of the merchandise. Yeah. Dude, Chicago merchandise is hot.
Everywhere.
Dude, White Sox even now is still a top 10 selling merchandise, dude. I mean, around the country because of the whole Sox over or whatever. But,
everything, dude.
Dr. Dre wore a Sox. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
But
even like young rappers, I mean, you see them everywhere. They're always wearing White Sox stuff.
Dude, exactly. So I mean, they're making so much money revenue off this, dude. And like that's the killer part, dude. They're definitely banking it all away, and they're not doing anything for the fans or the quality of the game on the field.
It's mind-boggling that what's happening that this revenue all of a sudden disappears when it's for our teams. Like
sure.
LA, New York. Like the Mets owner just is having fun. The Mets owner is just like, this is all like giving back philanthropy. He thinks of it as giving back to his city.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much money, it doesn't even make sense to him.
100%.
So he's just like, I guess we'll spend $300,000 or $300 million on a guy, whatever. 500 million, sure, why not?
Is
Let's
that
go.
like a saying, like you find out when you're a kid, like you can't take it with you? Aren't you like told that like when you're a young person, like, hey, you can't take it with you? Like, exactly. Like, what are you doing, man?
So
Like,
people like us spend it on dumb shit.
Yeah, like
have ourselves a good time.
podcast equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All very sound purchases.
No, but you're 100% correct, dude. And I think, again, I said it earlier, that's the number one problem in Chicago sports is it's us, dude. It's our fandom. It's our staying true to our team, no matter if we're winning or losing, and always giving that support. And that support equals money in these people's pockets. And that's where it comes back to bite us in the ass. Our support at the end of the day is fucking this over.
It's wild.
Because it's making them money.
You're making a lot of sense right now.
And
Mike.
with them making the money, there's no need to spend the money on the field when the doughs come in the door. Business is good, baby. Why am I going to go spend more money when business is good?
Yeah, well, you guys the gates are ticking. So
I mean, dude, look at the Bears, for example. Over 90-something%, almost the entire stadium is season ticket holders.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have 8-9 home games.
Just locked in
sales.
Just locked in sales.
100% paid for before the season even starts.
And it's a goddamn national brand. I mean, the Bears logo travels, man. It's everywhere. You know how we are. Everybody's retired in Arizona and Florida. It's like they're everywhere. Fans
Dude, then at the end
everywhere.
Of the
We're
season,
the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Packers. Like those are the fans and the teams. Like we're everywhere.
End of the season, McCaskey actually had the balls come out and say how upset he was about how many people sold their tickets during the last
that was funny.
Season.
That was pretty funny.
And we couldn't hear our own snap count. And people were, I can't believe that ticket holders are selling their tickets.
Old boy from Circus
We're coming
Sports,
off a fucking
Detroit fan.
10-game losing streak, you dumb fuck. What are you talking about? Like, you can't believe people are selling their tickets. Like, yeah. Dude, we had so many fans from Detroit come up for that game, dude. I mean,
oh my God.
It was cheaper than actually being in Detroit. I think we got raped in tickets this year. Detroit's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But, dude, the playoff game was more than the Super Bowl tickets, dude.
Did you see that story the guy I had on the podcast, Jeremy Schmidt? He's the guy who runs Crafted up in Mokina now. Did you see the story about his dad passing away?
No, I didn't see that.
So the long story, short, I'll try to squeeze it in here, but his dad and him went to the Bears-Lions game. They got field passes from a friend of ours. They got 11:30, game starts at noon. They're watching warm-ups and stuff on the field. His dad goes down out of nowhere. Heart just stop. He goes down. Wow. This fireman, big Detroit Lions fan, is there. He helps him, brings him back. So they get him to Northwestern. He ends up passing away that evening. So the Lions reach out to Jeremy. ESPN reaches out to Jeremy. So Jeremy was supposed to have a package on ESPN run the second Lions playoff game that never happened because the Lions choked it away. So so he shot this whole thing. It was just beautiful looking piece. He sent me some pictures from behind the scenes talking about how those 6 hours or whatever he got with his dad. So the Lions reach out to him. They fly him to Detroit. They fly the firemen that helped him to Detroit, bring them together. Field passes. He's taking pictures with Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders, and they're hanging out. ESPN comes out there, shoots the piece. The Bears refuse ESPN for like more to talk about the situation that happened. The Bears send him a package with a Devin Hester pin and like 2 like trading cards.
Shut the fuck.
And that was it. He sent me a picture of like what they sent him in his lap, and he was like, "This is what the Bears sent me." The Lions flew him out to Detroit, like did a whole.
But this happened at Soldier Field,
right? And it happened at Soldier Field.
So I can almost understand that when I'm thinking about from legalities points. You know what I mean? Somebody dies on your property.
He didn't die there.
But you know what I mean? People are so happy nowadays.
Shout out to Wally. Wally Schmidt was the man. Jeremy's a great guy.
That sucks. Regardless, obviously these people weren't out to sue and there wasn't a payday involved.
Right.
I mean, that was obviously determined by the time this was all happening. So, yeah, they should have fucking done a lot more.
terrible
Totally.
situation. Like, but I just thought it was crazy. I mean, Jeremy's a Lions fan. Maybe that's why they were like, hey, he's a Lions fan.
Yeah.
But his dad was a Bears fan too, which is crazy too.
Yeah,
Like,
but then after George McCaskey said that about the last game on the 22nd about being full of Lions fans, somebody called in the score like maybe like an hour afterwards from Detroit, saying that they bought a box at Soldier Field with over 50-something Lions fans they brought down to the game.
Yeah, you know who that was? That was the Circus Sports guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy, but he sponsors like everything on ESPN in Chicago
who
and
sold
all
him
that.
that box, Joe?
Circus Sports.
Who sold him that box?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know
George
who sold him.
McCaskey.
Yeah, you know you get
That
direct
motherfucker is selling a
direct
box
from the
yeah.
owner. He for sure brokered that, like actually signed the paperwork
not helping
himself.
your case at all right
It was
now,
the
so,
owner's
yeah.
box. I just kept picturing. Remember the Roger Clemens is in George Steinbrenner's
All right.
box.
We gotta get closing up here, though. I appreciate
Yeah.
everyone watching it tonight. But just a last topic, man. I definitely want to give a shout out, R.I.P. To George's mom, who
Yep.
was a sweetheart, Virginia
Old Ginny.
McCaskey,
Old Ginny, 102.
princess of the NFL.
It's amazing. Papa Bear's daughter.
Yeah.
Papa Bear's last. Wait,
Dude, it
daughter? Yeah, Papa Bear's daughter.
Goosebumps when I found out that her last game ever was watching the Bears beat the Packers
Lambeau Field.
at Lambeau Field on her
Lambeau.
birthday.
It was insane.
On her birthday.
What you couldn't?
That's your
couldn't-
last game.
Can't write
dude.
that script.
You cannot write that movie ending script of being the owner of the Bears. The last game you saw was them beating the Packers at Lambeau on your birthday.
I know that's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool.
That's fucking going out in style. But rest in peace, Virginia McCaskey. I'm curious to see down the road
Yeah.
what kind of
man.
tidal waves are going to be coming in as far as sales of the team now.
I imagine there's a lot of people putting together a lot of packages right now
Yeah.
to present all over. Now with these like people being able to get groups together to buy
Yeah.
certain amounts of teams. I would imagine it's going to happen.
It's been a joke for over 10 years that the team's going to be for sale before her body even gets cold.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, we are here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, there hasn't been much talk about it. I mean, give the lady
it's
her
coming.
respect, give it the time. I mean, but I think we're going to have some interesting topics to talk about this offseason.
It's going to be a lot of discussion. I don't know how viable any of it's going to be. I just want
Yeah.
to see a shovel in the ground. Give me Arlington Heights. Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, as much I'm. What about you though? I mean, like partying in the city and doing the tailgate thing. Like, would that be a bummer to you, or are you like, hell yeah, Arlington Heights, let's go?
Arlington
More
Heights would
space,
be-
more convenience.
It would be the same distance time frame from my house to get there.
Just driving it.
Doing plus when you go to the games, like where we tailgate at, either you're walking over a mile to and from
Yeah.
the stadium, or you gotta take a cart to get there. Like the bike riding carts will drive you up to the door. But it's just a pain in
Little
the ass,
rickshaws?
dude. It's just a pain in the ass.
It is. It's a
Like,
major pain. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The
They're
fucking
still somehow talking
side
about
of the
thinking they're
lake
doing-
and everything's beautiful.
Yeah, but they're
I
thinking
love
they're
it,
doing
but
another Lakeshore Stadium right next to Soldier
just
Field.
don't. Just
Like,
don't.
dude,
With less
The city
parking.
of Chicago already said it's not happening.
Yeah.
So
It'll be less parking, less
Yeah.
everything.
just let it go, man. Just let it go.
Is there one? There's one. Can I have time for one question?
Yeah, of
for
course.
who's like? Okay, so there's this spark for me for the Cubs. Like I
Yeah.
thought the 2024 Cubs were one of the most unlikable teams I've ever watched and rooted
Sure.
for. Like there was just nobody that captivates you on the team. Who is the most like beloved athlete in Chicago right now? Who would you say? Like who would you want to spend your money on? Like who would you
The
want to give your
most
love to right now?
Beloved, currently playing.
I'm just trying to go
athlete.
through. I'm thinking on the fly right now. Like okay, Connor Bedard. I like him. He's 19. Like I hope he's great. But there's nobody on that Hawks team. Bulls. There is not a goddamn player on that team. The rookie Bazilis. Like, he looks fun. Hopefully in a couple of years he'd be one of those guys like that we want to stand up and cheer for.
I mean, even with the amount of hate still coming against them, I would probably still say Caleb Williams has
That's
to be
kind
the
of
most
that's kind of where my
lovable-
mind was going. Was
But
like,
still, there's a lot of hate still against him
Yeah.
from a lot of loyal Bears fans.
but I do think that his heart is like really. He's here. Like he's here with us. I know people get the weird,
That's
with the
another sad-
nails and the outfits. Like what? Like yeah, but he's
that's
like,
another
he
sad point you just brought up.
genuinely
Dude.
cares.
We always had our players. We had our Frank Thomases. We had our
Yes.
Michael Jordans.
That's what I'm talking about.
Tevin Hester, Brian Urlachers. We had our
Somebody to really
Kane and Tays.
attach yourself to.
Yeah, you had your early 2000s Cubs guys. I mean,
Yeah, like where am I?
Anthony Rizzo. And,
Who's buying
yeah.
jerseys? Who's buying that jersey?
Oh, dude, I won't buy a current player's jersey.
Like if I had to buy
My
a
life depended
jersey,
on it.
It have to be Caleb, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Rome, maybe. Like Rome doesn't, but his personality hasn't really come out. I like Caleb's personality so far. I think that he cares. I think that he wants to be the best, and he wants the Bears to be the best. I think I think.
Yeah, but again, you're a kid. You're a
string
kid.
together some.
You're that 9-10-year-old kid watching only Chicago sports right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you who your hero is.
Nope. I mean, definitely not Bulls. Definitely not Hawks. Definitely not White Sox.
Yeah, who's your Chicago sports hero?
There's nobody on the
right
Cubs
now?
like Justin Steele's cool, but he's not a star. And like Shota, maybe Shota can develop into that because he has such a personality.
Sure.
He's like a lot of fun, you know. But I mean,
dude, having kids
pitches every fifth day.
Dude, I hear more about players on other teams
every day. That's what kids do, though. I mean, that's the way life
Lamar
is now,
Jackson,
right?
Oh, Patrick Mahomes,
Josh Allen's huge. Lamar,
yeah.
Joseph loves people from all different teams. He's never like he's a big Fernando Tatis guy, you know. Like he
growing up as a kid, I wasn't like that. I was like, no, fuck that Chicago team.
Yes,
that's all I care about. You fuck about those
Ken
guys.
Griffey was like the one that broke that
Griffey,
mold. I think he was like but he was universal. He was universal.
And somehow everyone had a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
Hell yeah, we
all had. We don't know what happened there.
My parents were cheap. I had to get the clearance Jacksonville one. I had a Jaguars one with the gold and the teal. It was wild. That little Jaguar on the pocket.
No.
Anyways, but it's just making me sad though, right? Like there's nobody to love. There's nobody. There's no Ditka. There's no coach. There's no like coach that you're like, fuck yeah, that's my coach.
The state of Chicago sports was not meant to be a happy episode tonight, guys.
Now we kind of knew that going in.
It's sad right now, and that's why we wanted to bring it up because I don't know if it gets talked about enough right now around the board of like it's every sport, it's every league, it's men, it's women's, it doesn't matter what the sport is. It's all bad right now, and
we deserve better.
We deserve so much better. Us fans, you guys out there watching right now, us here, everyone going to the games, everyone watching the games at home, week in and week out, and following the news and the social media, dude. Like they have us hook, line, and sinker. They have 150% support behind us, and they don't fucking give us anything in return, dude. Besides heartache and depression and bullshit.
And we don't even have like,
and we're like there with our fucking little bowl, like, and we have some more. Like,
yeah.
Fucking Oliver twisting, like, can I have some more? Like, it sucks.
We don't even have like in the South. If this happens to you in the South, it's like you have the SEC. We don't even have colleges to look at. Like we do Northwestern. Like I'd love to see Northwestern succeed, but like University of Illinois every now and again. Like, but even that's 2.5 hours, 2 hours away from us. You know, it's like there's nothing here. There's no big. DePaul's not gonna save us.
Do better, Chicago. You don't deserve us.
Well, that's the thing is like our fans, like the fans, like the fans deserve so much more.
Yeah.
I mean,
and dude, like we talked about tonight, it's the legacies that they're still making money off of. The Bulls are still making money off the 90s. Sox are still making money off
stupid.
Off of fucking milkshakes.
It's so stupid. Hey, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, the Hawks are still making money off of the 2010s.
Yep.
The Bears for 40 years have been making money off the 85 Super Bowl, dude.
Name one team in the NFL. All the boys are doing it.
Name one team in the NFL that talks about Super Bowl stuff from 40 years ago.
I don't know.
No, the answer is no. The Patriots don't even talk about all their championships.
I know they're like that shit's old.
Yeah,
like that shit's old. They had a documentary about it already.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Dynasty's over.
Yeah, we're still harping on a 40-year-old fucking.
Those guys don't even pay for meals anymore. Like,
dude,
they still don't.
They don't. They do not. They do not. That's a fact.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming out during the week and taking the time to do the show.
Much love, dude. Perfect timing, actually.
Yeah. Good time tonight.
Let's do it again.
Good time. Let's do it again.
Let's do something else. Maybe we do it. Yeah, man. I don't know.
We gotta find.
We gotta get a positive topic.
We can't talk about Chicago sports then. We can't come out here and talk about it.
Talk about craft beer or something.
Yeah.
Talk about Bedrocks. Let's just talk about Bedrocks. Come on here and talk about Bedrocks.
We should do it at Bedrocks.
We'll just do an episode about Ken.
Ken, we have ideas.
Ken, we got you, dude.
We have ideas.
We're coming for you, brother.
I love Ken.
We want to call the next billiards tournament. Put us on the Ocho.
That's amazing.
That would be a good time.
We have good ideas. We have good ideas.
Flowing.
All right, guys. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. I'll be popping up here and there throughout the off season when I feel we have something interesting to talk about. I mean, special guest Max will be back on. Whatever pops up, I'm sure with free agency and whatever happened now that Virginia's passed away. There's going to be some interesting topics come up to talk about. So we'll be back for those. Nothing boring as ever, but appreciate you guys. Love you guys. You guys are the best. Appreciate you watching. As always, bear down, baby.
Thank you, and go Bears!
Bear down!
From Harrison and Wabash we rise, tailgating with excitement under the skies. The Foz is leading the way with Billy from the van, rapping jazz, dancing to the Chicago plan. Surrender Mangoes is feeling the beat. Habibi Bear and Mama Bear never defeat. Deaf Bear and also roaring loud, and the stereo lurking among the crowd. The Hallis Tower, a symbol of might. Chicago handshake under the night. What is your profession? We ask. Legends of the game, a formidable task. Devin has the speed, behold. Mongo and Datum will never fold. Sweetness and Peter, heart of steel. Dick Buckers and Mike Dicker, the real deal. Super fans cheering with passion in the air.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Ranch. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and M-Maniacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share,